Cape delegation to the NCOP, that's the National Council of Provinces, has heard that an estimated 1.7 billion rand is required in order to resolve housing needs following the Mthatha floods that took place in June 2025. The delegation led an oversight visit in some districts in the province on how people affected by the floods are being assisted and accommodated. About 101 people, including school children, were killed in those floods in June this year. For more on the visit, we are joined by the National Council of Provinces Eastern Cape delegation leader, Inkosi Mwelo Nonkonyana, who joins us now. Baba, siyabonga isikhathi. Thank you so much for really joining us in studio as well. Really is a pleasure. More than 100 people dying in those floods earlier this year. It was declared a national disaster at the time, but 6 months later, effectively, we're still sitting with over 600 people still in care centers instead of permanent housing. Why do you think that is, Bob?
Well, I think first and foremost, thank you very much for according us this opportunity. And indeed, our government, being a current government, did take to their responsibility to take care of those victims 6 months. And indeed, through the public partnership, private partnership, PPP, the government has actually provided temporary houses, prefabricated houses at Maiden Farm next to Mthatha. And there's also many families that, as I speak to you, are actually housed in a community hall through the active participation of our ward councillor in that ward. And the OR Tambo district municipality, as well as King Sabata municipality, together with provincial and national government, all working hand in hand to make sure that, of course, these people are housed temporarily, but they must be provided with the decent housing, not in a distant future. But
what does that distant future look like? Because that is the main issue now, right? Because as I said, 6 months later, we're still sitting with those prefabricated houses.
Indeed, yes. And then, as you know, the question of land in South Africa is a challenge. But with the participation of King Dalindyebo as well as traditional leaders next to Mthatha, I think the government, as well as the Department of Land Affairs, are doing something to make sure that they are actually provided with the land next to Mthatha. And unfortunately, processes needed to be followed to make sure that they are properly demarcated. Because one other thing that we found, that our people, due to the scarcity of land, they had to house themselves along the banks of a rivulet. And, clearly, that area was not fit for human habitation as far as we were concerned. And hence, we need not do or commit anything. Once bitten, twice shy. And that is why, therefore, the government is very taking lawful and legal steps to make sure that they are provided in a place that is not going to cause them any harm in the future.
So is that to say then that the timeline of getting them permanent housing would be fully dependent on resolving the land issue in order to be able to get them the houses that they need?
Oh, yes, as well as, of course, the question of funding. And I think once the land has been found, which we were told that is not a major challenge, the challenge would be then there must be demarcation of those sites. And again, there must also be the issue of actually allocating the household there. And the other thing that we have asked the government to do is to make sure that they submit to us the list of the people that were actually affected, because we've come to our attention that other people were now taking chances. And so clearly we needed to check the list that had been provided for by the Department of Social Development and other Department of Disaster Management of COCTA to make sure that the list, the people that are going to be allocated the stands are the legitimate people and not people who are actually taking chances at the expense of the victims.
So what is the 1.7 billion rand for? Is that just for the OR Tambo district in terms of housing needs? And if so, how exactly would that help in the fight for permanent housing?
Well, it has been brought to our attention by the Chief Whip, I think Mlombile Klingo, the Chief Whip of the district municipality, that it's not only the Sabata Taringebo that have been affected. There are many, many others, but for now, the focus is on them. But it was brought to our attention that because the Eastern Cape is prone to these disasters, as our Premier, Mabuyane, correctly pointed out. It's not only Mthatha again, there's also Butterworth that has been affected in June. And seemingly, but the 1.9 million is also provided just for those people in Mthatha who were told. Hence, there is a need for us in the NCOP to make sure that the national government does provide funding to the provincial government as well as local government to make sure that those people do receive decent housing.
So you said more funding then would still be necessary from this point. Do you expect government to acquiesce to that?
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Hence, we said to them, having submitted our interim report, we then said then they must, within 14 days, they must actually submit further evidence with a view then when we submit to the NCOP leadership our financial report, it got to give a comprehensive picture, not only of Mthatha as well as Butterworth, but in the entire province, so that at least the province is provided with the necessary funding and assistance. And what we're also pleased about is that there is really a collaboration between the private sector as well as our government, but also between the government departments. It's very, very key, because we also saw a woman who was ill. Clearly, the Department of Health, all that department must actually come on board, and we were told that they were coming on board. And the municipal manager did provide with a dedicated official on a daily basis to make sure that they report to the leadership.
Have you been in contact with COGTA in the province as well as human settlements? Because one of the key aspects to this is that there are a lot of people living along these flood lines. And what I mean by that is whether it be river streams that then get over flooded or flooded in that time, and that's how this happens, for example, and removing them from those areas and ensuring that they aren't at risk as they are right now. It needs to be a future thing to happen. It actually needs to happen almost immediately.
Yes, 100%. Indeed, on the 18th, before we actually went there and other places, we had to meet the Premier and the entire executive. And MNC Lusiti also provided us with the overall report, as well as the district executive mayor. And MNC Williams for COGTA was also there. And all of them, of course, guided by a Premier, did actually provide us with the necessary information to see the state of the entire province. And what was pleasing was that there was that collaboration amongst them.
But did they give you a timeline with regards to moving these people and when they would move them and ensure that people no longer live along these flood lines or plains?
Oh, yes, they indicated, but it is subject, because it is not only a provincial competence. National departments must be there. And again, Department of National Department was there, the official from Water and Sanitations were there with us, and clearly they must also submit a report. As you may know, in Parliament now, there's a fiscal review, and clearly this will be factored in. So it's it is impossible now to with certainty to say by certain date. But clearly, when we submit our report, we'll be able to give the NCOP a clear indication, and also the department, and give them department timelines as Parliament in our oversight responsibility.
You know what I'm worried about, Bab, is that this has happened 6 months ago.
Yes.
And now we're still saying to ourselves, we need to still deliver more reports. People are, however, living in squalor in these situations and needing permanent housing. We've got the ability to do so, and yet now you have NGOs that have to play a significant role in doing this, whether it be DBSA, the Black Coffee Foundation, providing beds, toilets, blankets, etc. But 6 months in, surely we should have answers already. We know what's happened. We know what needs to be done. Should we not be doing it?
Oh, yes. It has been done, and they continue to do. And I tell you, on a daily basis, And our government, provincial government, as well as local government, they are working hand in glove with the national government to make sure that the people there that are affected actually do receive the necessary assistance they deserve. And they themselves did actually also say they are thankful to the government, and they are aware and they understand the situation. But clearly, from the government side, they also know that they have no luxury of time, and they are doing their best. I'm sure the indication was that at least come Christmas, there must be concrete plans to make sure that. Hence, when we submit our final report, we expect clear timelines from the department, all the relevant department and the government department. And we must also say we're very thankful to the business ventures. Indeed, it was confirmed on the side that the business entities that we're talking about offer assistance, and the public-private partnership is actually working, and they are actually on a daily and weekly basis. They are actually assisting those people, and those people are really in dire need. And we, as public representatives from local, provincial, and national, we agreed that we're going to work hand in hand in our oversight responsibility to make sure that the government is not actually dragging its feet on this matter. Yeah. Unfortunately,
I guess it just hurts, you know, because we're still talking about by Christmas having concrete plans instead of having concrete housing.
Yes.
You know, the actual thing that is ultimately necessary here. So who does the buck ultimately, you know, stop with here? Who do we sit back at right now if I was to interview somebody else who this final decision needs to be laid bare on, whether it be in the form of finances and actual groundwork? Who is that? Is that the Premier? Is that national government? Who is it that we need to go to?
Once a disaster is declared by the President, clearly it's the national government, but they must work hand in glove, all the three spheres. But,
is that not delaying things, though?
No, it's not delaying things. There's a team that is there representing all these three spheres. Hence, we don't foresee, as public representatives, that there will be undue delays. Hence, from the department and from the government side, they are aware that really to have their families there for over 6 months. And it was really very hurtful when we could see in the hall families, men actually sleeping the other side in the committee hall, and the women in the other side for almost 6 months. And really it is unbearable. But as I say, there is determination and commitment on all. But as far as we're concerned, oversight responsibility will make sure on a daily and a weekly basis to make sure that where are they. And it is one of the projects that in my radar screen as a provincial whip to make sure that the government does deliver.
So January, can we bring you back here and hopefully get an update?
Well, I think bring me end of January, because there's that December and January, but beginning of February, by all means.
Okay, that's going to be very important. Very quickly, this is not going to be this is not the first time. It won't be the last.
Yes.
What are the lessons here that as a government we need to learn? There's nothing we can do about weather, right?
Yes.
And floodplains and things that happen like that. But our preparedness could be something to really look upon. What is it that we've learned from the back of this?
Oh, yes. Again, there is a need to really put our people on land that is not going to be prone to these disasters.
Yeah.
Two, our people themselves must realize that for them just to go and put up a structure, it is not in their best interest, nor the best interest of their country, because it's pushing us back to deliver more services. Hence, there is a need for the people as well as the government to be in partnership so that these things do not happen again. Our people, they deserve proper housing, they deserve better life, and they deserve a government that cares, but it must not, we must not cause them to suffer this much.
Yeah, 6 months on is a very long time, Baba. So we really are hoping for urgent assistance in this regard, urgent help, and just moving from the concrete plans right through to concrete structures. That's what we really need here. But I really want to thank you Appreciate your time really for joining us.